Colleen Brunetti wrote a blog post about potty training. In it, she said, conventional westernized baby-rearing wisdom states that the best time to potty train is sometime after 18 months, the time at which a child can begin to control bladder and bowel function and respond to parent-led training. She continued, for instance, according to the Mayo Clinic, potty training should begin when children can communicate things like a desire to go and an interest in the potty, and remain dry for a period of time. Further on in her post, she explained that the use of pull-ups began in about the 1950s when pull-ups were introduced and supported and recommended by a pediatrician who was being paid for his recommendations. As a result, many people now feel that pull-ups are a necessity for potty training. I want to share with you some of my experience after helping to potty train between 20 and 30 children over a 5-year span. One of the ideas behind pull-ups is that they are a tool that can be used to encourage children to start using the potty on their own. They are fashioned and made with the idea that children will be able to pull them up easily. And some brands are formulated to help children recognize when they are wet. Most brands make a variety of designs to suit the interest of each toddler. They were created out of the belief mentioned in Colleen Brunetti's post. Potty training should begin when a child is old enough to control their pottying needs. Pull-ups and diapers appear to be made out of similar materials. In both cases, they are absorbent enough to contain their contents. In the last few years, there have been attempts to make pull-ups more potty training friendly in order to help children understand and recognize when they're wet. However, it's still absorbent enough to prevent the mess inside them from spilling out. Pull-ups are designed to be pulled up, but they're pretty stiff and unforgiving. In the same way, moving a piece of furniture around your home can be very stiff and unforgiving. As you move the piece of furniture, you have to exert force to do it. If something gets in the way, it becomes harder to move that piece of furniture. Pull-ups are very much the same way for children who are still developing their fine motor skills. Pull-ups become very difficult for them to pull up, especially with their little knees getting in the way and other body parts getting in the way of being able to pull those pull-ups up. Instead, what happens is the pull-ups begin to try and give, much in the same way pieces of furniture will try and veer off course if something gets in their way. Usually this give means that the pull-ups are now broken at the seams on the sides and are no good, and that is now a waste of money. Using having children practice with underwear, on the other hand, is much easier. Underwear flows in much the same way water will, where it will divide around an object and then connect again on the other side of the object and just keep right on moving. Underwear can do the same thing, a similar fashion for children. When they're trying to pull it up, underwear moves much more freely, and it's easier for them to pull it up. It's also been my experience that children who went straight from diapers to underwear learned to use the potty much quicker and much easier. 2 boys I helped potty train illustrated that point very well. One of them, he had been in pull-ups for quite a while and had the ability to use the potty, but did not see any reason that he needed to. And so instead, he would just go in his pull-up and expect him to be changed much the same way as a child in a diaper would be. It was only after his mother switched him to underwear that he began to actually start using the potty, and it took a lot longer than for most of the other children who just went straight to underwear for him to start doing that. He would allow his accidents to happen, and then it took a lot of doing to convince him that using the potty was something that he needed to do. Another little boy, on the other hand, went straight from diapers to underwear, and in the about 3 months between when he became potty trained and when he moved up to the older class, during that time he only had one accident, and that was only because he got distracted that day. Um, but he did much better with potty training than the other boy did because he went straight to underwear. Children can be very resistant to change, so having two changes can be very difficult and very frustrating for them. It's in a lot of cases, for a lot of children, it's much easier just to go ahead and switch right to the underwear rather than having a stopping place in the middle. Otherwise, you'll frustrate them, you'll confuse them, and they may begin to distrust you if there are too many changes going on around the same time. It is my hope that we can see pull-ups for what they really are: more expensive diapers. For children who are mostly potty trained, they are great for bed and nap times. If worn during the day, they can easily become the equivalent of diapers, hindering and prolonging the potty training process. Pulling them up is not as easy as the name makes it sound, and instead they are very frustrating for toddlers to pull up. They break easily, which ends up being a great waste of money spent on them. When it's time to potty train, skipping the pull-ups is much more effective. It will mean more cleanup in the short term, but foregoing the pull-ups will mean quicker and better results in the long term.